Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. Yes, I've got some more Sandbox battles for you. I loaded into this one very late, in fact, actually, because the computer crashed. And I had to, well, not the whole computer, but the game crashed, because I tried to start the game using mods and it failed. It wouldn't work with mods at all. And so I've loaded back in late. And I'm just driving to a new firing position. Well, this game is interesting for several reasons, mostly of which I actually get counter-batteried quite a lot by the enemy Arty. So you're going to notice a lot of counter-battery. Rounds out the type. Landed near, but didn't hit. Okay, I'm reloading, getting ready. They're bunching together nicely. Rounds out. Lands short. Now it's 2 shots I've fired. I think the enemy Arty is looking for me. He could see the tracer, but he couldn't spot exactly where I was. Okay, KV2R. Trying to get a shot on target. Rounds out. Direct hit on the KV2R. 241. I get the warning. Arty round inbound, and yes, I do lose some hit points and I'm stunned. So an Arty round did land nearby, but it didn't hit me exactly. And after I fired this round, I think I relocate. So trying to get the solution, fire a round at the Cromwell, goes long. I get a warning again, knock a tree down and move just in time to avoid a round that would have taken me out. So we know the enemy M44 is looking for me. He did get a splash on me. Rounds out. Nope, didn't get anything off that. Gonna have to move again, because obviously he is looking. Okay, I'm in amongst the trees. Just change position slightly. Dialing in. DK2801. You can see where he is. It's actually, he's just slightly to the right of the hill, or at least one of their Arty is. They've got 2 Arty left in the game at the moment. In fact, they only had 2 Arty in the game. The FB304 and the M44. The Burt is actually short range. Oh, now I'm getting warning again, and I've been stunned again. I only lost 12 hit points this time. And I fired a very late round there of the second shell. Now I think he's probably going to think that I'm still in amongst that position. I hope that fence being knocked down actually didn't give away that I've moved. And the other M44 is there as well. So it could be that that's what's attracting the shells. Yes, there's another round coming in there. Now you can see I'm actually aiming towards an enemy tank. A T-3485M who just got killed. Now I'm going for the VK and the EZ8. Get some off the EZ8 with the secondary ammunition. I'm going to have to move again. Yes, he tried again. So he's obviously focusing on this area. He saw my shell and aimed the shell in that direction, but just didn't get it right. Now the FB304 doesn't have stun, by the way, so it doesn't have the new shell configuration. Oh, trying to get these type, and you can see his response was very quick and unfortunately too short. I think he's aiming for the start of the tracer, and of course, as you know, they've changed the tracer start point. It doesn't start from the end of the barrel. Now it starts from about 100 meters on. So my next shot goes in there. Now, is he going to hit that spot again? I expect he probably will, because he's probably seeing the other M44. Okay, just changing position. Okay, there's the Burt. He's actually just around the corner. I think he was aiming at our heavy tank number 6 and the Tiger 131. There's the M44 as well. He was actually in the same position, and that's why he didn't respond. My shell takes out the FB304. So I've got one of the enemy, and I'm now going to change position again, just in case he was looking. Of course, he was actually trying to evade. Okay, we've got a Type 64 up near the bunker. Rounds out. Unfortunately, it's the second type of shell, which means that the splash radius is only 4 meters, so that's why that one didn't do any damage at all. They've lost their M44 now, and that was the last enemy. So this game is over. Well, I wasn't able to get the results of the M44 game on Sweden, but, well, I've got a game on Cliff instead. North Spawn, I'm in the Hummel, the Tier 6 German. As you can see, the shell loadout, 9 rounds of standard HE, 5 rounds of the new HE with the more increased damage, and 4 rounds of the high explosive anti-tank. Okay. It's a 15 centimeter howitzer, and with the big gun it should be able to hit all over the battlefield. I'm just going to sit in this bush. I was trying it out from these bushes to start with on this particular map. A bit of conventional play. Obviously you could go down into the dip. No enemies appeared so far. Okay, Type 64 turns up. I fire, thinking he was actually going to go straight forward, but he didn't. He pulled back, and that allows the Cromwell B to get into position ahead of him. Stops him moving up. So I'm now having to aim a bit further back in the hope of getting him. Okay, he's pulled way back now. I fired thinking he was going to go forwards, but I managed to get 144 hit points and splash off him anyway. And I'm afraid that actually persuaded him to pull back even further. Okay, we've got some enemy heavy tanks coming in a little further away, and I spotted those as well as that T-34-85. Got no solution for the moment on him. The Type comes up again, but I momentarily think I might be able to get a shell into him, but I fire a round in and don't get anything this time at all. KV2R. I have actually keyed up the second round to fire now. That's loading, and I've keyed up the first round to go back to afterwards. Rounds out. Direct hit, 282 hit points, but non-penetration. So this time round I've selected the heat round to see if I can actually pen that KV2 rather than these. I'm loading the Type 1 high explosive. There was a tracer coming in from the enemy Arty, so we think he's probably down in the corner. I fire the round in and it wipes out the Type 64. Of course, very thin armor on a Type 64, so it's a bit overkill using a heat round to take him out. Okay, we're loading another heat round, aiming for the T-34-85, but we've lost sight of him. He's pulled back temporarily, but we can now see the KV2R. Unfortunately, at this position, I'm not getting a solution on him just yet. Okay, the T-34-85 backs up, fire around in his direction, and just make a hole in the ground. Yeah, this battle assistant's not very effective compared to the others. I just saw the tracer from the enemy Arty again. Still not aiming at him though. There's only one enemy Arty, it's a Bert actually, so he has to be fairly close to be getting these shots in. So they've made the Burt tracer more visible as well. KV2R. A bit further forward, please. Got the heat round still loaded. Now, I didn't get that hit. It was my teammate in the T-3485M who actually got the kill. And we're now aiming for another Type 64 who's hiding behind that bush and thinks he's perfectly safe there. But in fact, an OI gets the kill on him. Okay, there's the Burt. He's way, way, way back in there. I thought he was actually a lot closer. But it looks like we're going to win this one because, well, he's only got one teammate left. And he's just been killed by one shot by a box tank. And that leaves the Achilles as the last remaining enemy. It looks like he's a bot. Yes, he was a bot, but the Cromwell got there before I did. So we've got another win. So I'll load back in another game so you get to see how the shells perform shortly. Okay, we've got another game, and this time round we've got the M53, M55, and we're on the Paris map, which is traditionally not a very good map when it comes to Arty, mainly because the buildings tend to get in the way. Now I've got the 8-inch howitzer, 203 millimeters. Now you can see that the shells will do 950 alpha now. They used to do 1050. Now they're down to 950. This one will do 1160, slightly more, but of course reduced burst radius 6 meters compared to the original. You've got there 11.1, and it's got armor piercing rounds, not heat rounds this time round, just solid shot. Okay, I'm moving into the bushes here. That'll do nicely. And immediately we've got trouble, a GSOR. One of the things we notice on this, oh, and I stunned both of them, but the GSOR fixed his stun fairly quickly. I'm going to have to keep relocating quickly on this map. Yeah, I think that one of the things I've noticed is that the reduction in damage and the reduction in the blast radius is making it easier for fast-moving tanks to attack and wipe out Arty, and Arty therefore can't help the team, because after all, what you want to do is you want to be able to stun a light tank so that your teammates can then kill it. But of course, if you can't stun it or hit it, then it can be difficult. That Sheridan was stationary, so he made an easy target for me. 402 hit points, first bit of damage. You notice there's an enemy EBR 105 moving about quite rapidly. Going to go for another shot in this Sheridan because he doesn't really seem to know how to control it. And of course the Sandbox does give people the opportunity to try out tanks they've never tried before. Rounds out. Okay, he's gone. Going to change position again, moving up. This should do for the next shot. Enemy RT is in the game, but he's not where he normally should be. In fact, I'm noticing those EPRs moving about, and I'm a bit concerned. The enemy has lost one RT already, and that EBR coming this way, it's fairly obvious. Conqueror realises that as well, and we're moving because we know that EBR's coming up to try and kill us. That's why I say EBR are getting even more deadly for RT simply by the fact that we can't respond as we used to. Now you may wonder why I'm looking back. Yep, the EBR got him. But the EBR didn't see where I was, and I moved into the bushes here, and our EBR went back to try and deal with him. And our EBR's got wiped out. I put a round into the 704. The other EBR just, well, he's pulled back. I'm wondering if he's actually looking for me, but he just can't find me. Our EBR over the other side is, well, he's not doing much where he is. I'm looking to get another shot on that 704. We are winning this game at the moment. Rounds out. Another direct hit, 340. Still don't know where the other EBR is, but our EBR is in sight of my position, so he should be able to see the other EBR if he actually does get close to me. Okay, the other EBR is in sight now. Now I fired a round up there using the armor piercing. No explosion. I thought there might be somebody up there, and the tortoise was. I don't think I hit him though. No damage. I haven't been seen yet either. I'm loading an armor piercing on that tortoise. With a 203mm shell, I should go straight through the side of a tortoise. Almost loaded. So, is this realistic? Rounds out. Critical hit. That's all it gets. A critical hit with a 203mm shell that should have gone straight through. I was seen. I am loading HE, but I'm not going to be able to do anything about this EBR. I'm not loaded. I can only just like threaten that I am loaded, trying to get a shot on him. He's trying to come over the top at me. He changes his mind when he thinks that I might actually be loaded. Yeah, it puts a round into me, so I'm now a one shot. Lost one of my gunners. Fixed the gunner, but I'm not going to be able to traverse in time to deal with the EBR, and he knows it. And in fact, actually, our team have just literally fallen apart. And now it looks like we're going to lose this one. Are we going to lose it? Well, we'll have to see. I think I did actually switch to our other teammates. Well, we've got a tortoise badly wounded. Two teammates together. One of whom is a tortoise, the other is 60 TP. They should be able to take down this tortoise between them. In fact, that EBR is now starting to fire rounds into them. There goes the tortoise. The other enemy, the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV, has been taken out. So they've only got one enemy left now, the EBR. Now, the tortoise is not going to catch an EBR. And it's rather silly of him even to think about it. I was at the time saying cap, because you're never going to catch an EBR. Not in your wildest dreams. Yeah, I think he suddenly realised that as well. Pointless to try. Well, he's trying. Let's hope he's successful. The 60 TP's gone around the other side. And he's found the EBR and killed him. So the game is a win. After all, we lost a lot of teammates on their assault on the cap, but they finally succeeded. So this one was a victory. And the armor-piercing shell I fired at that tortoise did absolutely no damage at all. It should have torn through the side of that vehicle. Even if it hit the tracks, it probably would have gone straight through, damaged him and taken him out. But it didn't touch him at all. Well, it only did a critical hit. So eaten by the tracks. A 203mm shell into his rear quarter as well. Yeah, that I simply do not believe that one. But anyway, that was the end of this battle, and I'll start another one very shortly. Okay, next battle has started, and it's the AMX-13 F3AM Tier 6 French SPG, 155mm howitzer, so it will have the new shells, and it does. That's a tier 6 battle. Everyone's tier 6. Should give plenty of opportunity for damage. We'll just have to see though how this one plays out. There are some bots in the battle. You can see there's only 2 on each side. Okay, I'm headed over to the west side of the map. Normally on Fisherman's Bay it's actually more beneficial to be on the east side to help the heavy tanks in the town. But I'm going to try this one from this side. I'll see how this goes. Okay, there are enemy tanks already at the centre line. Number of heavy tanks seen in the town, and they've already lost 2 tanks. I'm aiming for this corner because there's normally somebody here. Okay, now going to focus on the heavy tanks which are now in sight. They did see them initially, but then they lost sight of them, which is why I focused on the centre. And now they've lost sight of them again. It's awfully helpful if you do actually keep the enemy in sight, because otherwise it's very difficult for Arty to help. And we've lost sight of that Jackson, and that Jackson I know is a bit of a pain. I remember this battle. Hellcat runs out, lands behind him. He moved just at the right moment, but he has been taken out. Firefly 5C is the next target. Now he's only got a 76.2mm 17 pounder, but that Rudy's got a 85mm. He should be able to take that guy down, but he doesn't. And I got reticule balloon at the last moment, and the shell lands well away, in fact outside the map. I don't know what caused that reticule bloom, but it was really annoying. It came just at the wrong moment. Okay, we've got a Striv 74. Almost loaded, fully dialed in, rounds out straight away. He was still there and he's been wiped out. Okay, that was the standard HE rounds. Now, if I remember correctly, the AMX13F3 has 680 alpha. You've got 630 here on these. Penetrations, I think, is about the same. Burst radius is about the same. Here you've got 770 from these rounds, but they've only got a 4-meter burst radius. So, Mr. Jackson again. The heavy tank number 6 is in a bit of a difficult position to hit, because you're more likely to hit that house than hit the heavy tank. Up, but he's gone. I can hit this KV-85 if he stays in this position. Rounds out. He pulled away, and that one just hits the ground. We're 1 tank down on the enemy at the moment. Now, people have said trajectory, or asked about the trajectory, and yes, I do think the trajectory is appreciably affected, because sometimes I'm aiming at spots which I normally would be able to hit, and buildings and everything is getting in the way now. So I suspect, especially with a French Arty, the trajectory, which is already fairly low trajectory anyway, is even made even worse by the changes. Wargaming were lowering the trajectories of the heavy, the high explosive rather, and the armor piercing rounds. And there goes the Jackson. But the Cromwell is getting close, and I didn't spot him. He's very close. I'm right up against the edge of the map here. I can't pull away. If I try to, he's going to see me straight away. So I just have to sit here and wait for him. I think he is looking for me, but he didn't see me. My sixth sense hasn't gone off. So I have the feeling he's close. I could fully go into the bush, but if I was to move, he might spot me as I do. And I wouldn't be back up against the edge of the map as well. Being up against the edge of the map stops him getting behind me to kill me off. I've applied the handbrake so I can have a look round without moving the vehicle. And in the meantime, I see the A43, but I can't get a shot on him. Now I can get a shot on him. Rounds out. Get a bit of him. Okay, I'm unloaded, and now the Cromwell suddenly appears. Arty's focusing on me. I have to stay at the edge anyway, but the Cromwell B finishes me off. I really shouldn't have shot at that A46. It was, or the A43 rather. It was a bad decision really, with the Cromwell B nearby. Okay, so it's 4 versus 5. It's 3 versus 5. We just lost our Cromwell B. See the A43. The others are converging on this area now. Well, the KV-2R got a nice shot into the Cromwell B, but he got wiped out by the enemy KV-2R. And, well, he's getting sound warning from Arty, who probably is over the west side of the map. And this one is a loss. So, that one didn't work out too well. Only 323 hit points of damage. Well, that's all that was recorded anyway. So I'll have one more battle and then I'll produce the video. Okay, the next game is now loading. We've got the AMX13F3AM again, this time on Prokhorovka. And we'll see if we can get a win out of this one. It's another tier 6 battle, only tier 6 tanks, 2 bots either side. Okay, we're off. Where, as you can see, I'm actually going over the other side. Not to the conventional spots. Now I tried to go up a steep bank there, it doesn't work. So let's turn it sideways and yep, slip sliding. So I decided I'm going to fire a round from this bush and then I'll move away afterwards. Okay. Oh, we've got some nice targets to aim at, specifically a TOG 2. We just saw the Artys in the centre of the field as well. TOG 2 takes around 245. Now, if I remember correctly, the AMX13F3 does 680, so this is 630 and 770, so that's more damage. But remember, because it's got a flat trajectory, it's going to have an even flatter one with the changes. Yep, you can see he's actually hiding behind that bush directly there. It's fairly obvious, actually. You can see the tracer from a long, long way away and work out the general position. Unfortunately, that one came down virtually on top of the bush, in fact, slightly short of it, which meant that that Arty player now has advanced warning. I'm aiming in his direction. Now he might start looking in my direction as well. We've got a pair of TOGs now to aim at. Trying to get a solution. That looks right. Rounds out. Oh, now, just a hole in the ground. So I suspect the TOG moved, and I'm going to move as well now. So we'll just check to see that does anybody hit that bush. We're loading another heat round. See if we can do a lot more damage to those TOGs. The TOGs are fairly weak on their sides. The heat rounds will go through 194 millimeters of armor, so they should go straight through a Sherman Jumbo, which is what we're aiming at. M4A3E2. Extra armor on the front. Runs out. Misses him. Makes an expensive hole in the ground. We're loading the second HE round now. The high explosive round with more damage, more penetration. And the TOG appears. And that's too good a target to give up on. So we'll have him. Got him. Only 147 hit points. Looks like somebody else hit him at virtually the same time as I did. Gonna fire another one in, see if I can take out this TOG too. But I doubt if he'll last very long. He's already badly damaged. And I can see Arty's relocated over to the west. Rounds out. Yep, got him too. So 2 TOGs. Only 3 players on my team have actually got damage. Or at least kills, rather. And you can see the AMX13F3 is the last one on the west side of the map on my team. And he's now effectively abandoned that position. And he's headed my direction. I think it's almost certainty we're going to lose this. We're 5 tanks down already. And I got another kill. Took out the Rudy. Going to change position again, just in case I was spotted. Enemy tank was just capping. So somebody is chasing the MX-13F3 and I've just been spotted. Somebody saw me. And I'm going to expect Arty to probably play a part now. I'm going to try and get low down near the river area. And Arty manages to track me underwater. And I've got another warning of an Arty round coming in. More damage. Both enemy Artys, the M44 and the AMX-13F3, managed to get a bit of me. But I'm now hiding in the bush. Now, will they aim for the bush, thinking that's the most logical place I have to be? Well, we'll have to see. They might see the tracer. I'm pretty certain they're looking in this direction. Okay, we've got a box tank coming in towards me. And from the current position I'm in, I'm not able to get a shot on him because he's just too low trajectory. And I can't see where the AMX 12-ton tank is. I can certainly see the box tank now, and I've auto-aimed onto him. And 396 hit points. And I'm taken out by the 12-ton, who happened to be right behind me. There he was. So, another loss, I'm afraid. The Poodle is getting advance warning, but not for long, and is taken out by the M44, and that's the end of the game. So you don't get much in the way of sound detection warning, just a brief second or so, much less than the 6th Sense time before you are actually wiped out, and the low trajectory is affecting your ability to hit certain objects as they come towards you if you're trying to shoot over a shallow ridgeline. Remember, Arty shells tend to go up and come down, but if the target's close to you, the gun has to go a flatter trajectory, and if the ground in front of you is actually undulating or there's a slight ridgeline, it can be very difficult to get a shot. And if the trajectory is even lower than it should be normally, I think it's going to make it next to impossible for you to get shots from certain directions. So ridgelines might not be a possibility. So I'll turn this one into a video and upload this to the channel so you get to see these games. I will try and do some more of these sort of videos so you get an idea. I was playing my heart out, trying to get good games, good impression of the changes, and I feel that I did get something out of it, an understanding that these changes would actually be detrimental to the game, certainly detrimental to Arty, but they would be detrimental to the game. They do actually make it easier for tank players, but they actually make it far worse for Arty players, so worse that some Arty players will say, well, it's not really worth playing anymore. And that could lose Wargaming 20% of their profits. But anyway, I'll come back with some more videos shortly. Thanks for watching.